justification to dehumanize, exploit, brutalize, rape, pillage, and plunder his property. Frederick couldn't see, he couldn't understand the hypocrisy in that. And one of the first books that he would read would be the Bible. And in the Bible, he found that God did in fact love him. And God didn't mean for him to be a slave for life. And so he's thinking critically about his condition. And as I've traveled around this country, and I've spent time in schools and youth detention facilities and barbershops, I had a young boy, a 16-year-old African-American boy in Albany about 4 years ago say to me, he wanted to describe the mental bondage that he felt in his mind. And he said, Mr. Morris, my mind feels like a dark, pitch-black hallway with no doors and no windows. And there's no way out. I don't know which way to turn. But what you just told me about Frederick Douglass and his ABCs and how he valued education, that was a little spark of light into my mental darkness. And now I can start to see my way out of it. Our young people everywhere are living in mental bondage. There are a lot of adults living in mental bondage that can benefit from this book also. But when we give away 1 million copies, I know, like I said today to the students, that there is a Frederick Douglass sitting in classrooms everywhere. There's a Sojourner Truth. There's a Harriet Tubman. There's a Susan B. Anthony. There's a Cesar Chavez. Pick your freedom fighter of choice. They're sitting in classrooms everywhere, and we just need to awaken their spirit and their consciousness. And as the young people say to me, get woke. And I can proudly tell you that I am woke, and I plan to stay woke. And so as we've had conversations and we've handed out this book, what we've seen is young people start to break free from the mental chains of their minds. And they start to look around. And in the same way that Douglass and the abolitionists looked at this legal institution of slavery and thought, how do we go about dismantling that? Imagine the challenges that we have today, but looking where your federal government said it's legal to enslave you, illegal to teach you, most people would run away from that challenge. Now, of course, we needed a civil war to officially end slavery, but what we're seeing young people that are looking at institutions, American institutions, where racism is systemic. And they're starting to think about, how do we organize? How do we come together? We saw this with the students down in Florida around gun laws, gun safety laws. And so now they're thinking, okay, these institutions exist, but how do we go about strategically dismantling them and bringing them down? And so we are so proud to have partnered with Washington College on this project. We gave away, I think, about 150 books this afternoon to the middle school students. The students at Washington College are coming together as mentors, and they're going to go into the classrooms of these middle schools and help them kind of process what's in this book, because Douglass spares no detail when he's describing his situation in enslavement. And being his descendant, I've had people of all ages and all races come up to me my whole life and tell me how Frederick Douglass inspired them. Or they read the narrative. They always remember how old they were, what grade they were in, or if they were in college. And many times they would come up with tears in their eyes. And when I was a little boy, it was hard to imagine or even understand the emotional